Besides sending the police, you might want to send an ambulance or a hearse.
Hello, Billy Ho here, coming at you for a preview show, a special show with a special guest. We're going to talk to a big winner in our Discord this week, and we're going to talk a little bit of U.S. Open and get into some cool stuff. So if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel, smash that like, join the contest too. I got a $3 Billy Ho contest this week. We're getting ready to talk to the man who won it last week. His name is Ryan, and he goes by Big R Colts Fan 497 on the chat. But on DraftKings, it's Big R Gamer 497, or you can just call him Big Game Hunter. Hey Ryan, how's it going, buddy?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. You had a huge week. Not only did you win my contest with a 5 out of 6 lineup, but you also won the Pat Mayo Experience Open, and I guess that was a what, 5K grand prize?
Yeah, $5,000.
Yeah, that's sweet,
And
man.
so it kind of boils down to this: they had the playoff, and going into the playoffs, I was sitting at 3 grand, and I didn't have Fleetwood, so I needed Nick Taylor to win this playoff
Yeah.
bad. And
God,
with
how
Nick
did you
Taylor,
feel? How did you feel when he made that putt?
I was crying, man. I was screaming, jumping up and down. I could not believe he made it. I was expecting him to lag it up there, put it within 5, 10 feet, maybe. I was just hoping to get it close. And that thing went in center cup, just dead nuts. Like it couldn't have been any better. Like I still can't believe he made it. I've watched it hundreds of times, and I'm like, how did that go in?
Yeah, it was insane because I was watching it too, and to a lesser degree, I had Nick Taylor and no Fleetwood, but I only won like double digit money. I didn't win anything near you. Now, so
Well,
let me ask you this: how long have you been playing DFS, like PGA?
man, I can't remember when I started. I started when they popped up some free contests every now and then. I started playing some free ones when I seen them. Then I started messing around. I'd throw like $1 in the quarter games or
Mhm.
something. And then, man, I probably got real serious about it probably 2 or 3 years ago when I started like figuring some strategies out and stuff. Like when I first started, I didn't know about course comps or
Right.
this
Yeah.
guy plays good here, or this guy hits this better, he puts better on this grass or that grass, and
Hmm.
I was just out there picking names.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to share my screen, and then we're going to get into some stuff here. So let's go ahead and do that.
Boiled down to was I was actually second when the playoffs started. So when Fleetwood lost, the guy actually lost 10 position points, and that put me
Right.
above
Yes.
by
That
two
was the
points.
thing. The big part of that was who was going to keep the 10 and who was going to lose the 10. And I guarantee you there were more people with Tommy losing the 10 than there was Nick Taylor. Because you see, I saw in my contest that I had, he was about maybe 13%. So I didn't know what he was in the Pat Mayo. But this is your lineup in the Billy Ho contest, and all you missed was Doc Redman. So you had basically a lot of the similar players that I had, and my mistake was not playing Eric Cole, who I usually love to play, and he puts you over the top in this one by exactly a half point once Nick Taylor won the contest.
So his round four, Eric Cole's round four, really pushed him over. I don't remember where he started his round four off, but I think he was like 25th or 28th. He
Yeah,
he moved the big time on Sunday to get inside the top 10 and got
absolutely.
the position points and stuff. So he really, I believe Eric Cole's in the optimal lineup. Um,
Oh yeah, I believe so because he went I believe 4 straight birdies to close and then got the bogey free bonus to go along with that. So he
yeah,
had, I believe, I don't think he already had the 3x birdie bonus. So I think he got like the 3x birdie bonus, the bogey free round, and then the 4 birdies in a row, all those points in the last 4 holes of his round. So, I mean, you talk about a monster leap forward. That's just insane. Now, this lineup here is your big let's get us out of the way here. Is your big game winning here, and you had Hatton. You actually had Fitzpatrick in this lineup, but you had obviously the winner, Nick Taylor, Mark Hubbard, who's been awesome. CT Pan, which was a really great pull by you because he came through big time. But the one I'm curious about is Doug Gim. Where did you get Doug Gim from? Because we haven't heard much about him lately, and he must have finished really strong.
He got 12.
Yeah, he shot back-to-back 69s over the weekend. So to finish
on Friday.
T12, which is solid.
Yeah, so man, I read a ton of articles ever since I've started getting big into this, and I couldn't count how many articles I kept seeing Doug Gim's name, Doug Gim, Doug Gim, Doug Gim, Doug Gim. And they were talking about one of the comp courses and how he set up nice on the comp course. And the other thing too, if I'm not mistaken, I think Doug Gim might have been one of Snyder's soldiers. I know Mark Hubbard was, but Doug Gim might have been one of them too. Who I follow on Twitter. He gives those out on Wednesday at 10:00.
Okay,
he gives
so
out
he was on some people's radars as kind of a sleeper.
Yeah. So I mean, and my thing is, if you're going to win a big contest, you're not going to win it with a 17-20% guy.
No,
it's going to take a guy probably 5% or less to really put you over on everybody else, to give you that leverage on the field that you need to just jump up. And you definitely probably need the top 20 out of it too, because I mean, Gim got 12th in this one, so he did good. Now, the one thing I wish I probably did now looking back, if you actually take both those lineups, if I would have put Eric Cole instead of Gim, which I think Eric Cole is a little bit cheaper than Gim, and then up top, if I would have got away from Fitzpatrick and went to Fleetwood. Matter of fact, if I would have had Fleetwood,
I was going to say just somebody other than Patrick up top that like a Fleetwood or someone similar would have probably got you at least 15 or 20 more points.
So I put this contest in Drive the Green as well, and I had my best finish in Drive the Green with this lineup too. I finished 35th in that.
35th, yeah.
And if I would have Fleetwood instead of Fitzpatrick, the two guys that tied up top in Drive the Green, I would have been third tied with them, and we would have been split in first, second, third on Drive the Green, which would have been just amazing. But I didn't play any Fleetwood. I mean, I know he was out there. He was popular. He was talked up a lot. I really kind of felt that course set up better for Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you there. You did a good job, and really, looking at a couple of your lineups. Like you said, the guys that you got different with were the difference, because like in my pool, I had Taylor, Fitzy, Hatton. I was doubling up top like you did with like Hatton and Fitz or Hatton and Rose, or and then getting a guy in here like Nick Taylor and then Hubbard, and then going two guys down low. And I managed to pull 1 6 of 6, but it was like my worst scoring lineup, and it ended up having. I had like Ches Reavy was kind of like my sleeper to your Gim, and he took him all weekend, but he finally shot a good round on Sunday, which helped me out. But this was pretty awesome, man. I can't thank you enough for all the support you give me and everybody on the Discord channel, and it's really well deserved. What I want to do now is kind of get into some U.S. Open talk with you and see where you're so we're going to go over to Rick Run Good's cheat sheet, and just to give you kind of an idea on what we're looking at jumping off here. And ownership just came out. We discussed that a minute ago, but so we know this is not going to stay. We know John Rahm's not going to be 12.7%. Because that would be just lockstep button all day. But if you've already looked at the pricing and everything, and you probably got a decent idea on where you're going. So are you going to go similar to what you did at the Canadian Open with like two guys up top, like a Cantlay hot, two guys up top and then skip down, or are you going to go more balanced?
So I'm probably going to go tried 10K, 9K, or 11K, 9K type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the two guys up top, that ownership holds instead of Scheffler. I'd definitely be hammering some John Rahm, but the other guy, two guys that stick out, man, would be Koepka and Cantley.
Right.
And Cantley's been getting talked up a lot. So I just found out today, listened to a podcast on the way home from work. 10 years ago, Pac-12 had a championship at this course. There's actually a YouTube video, I guess like an hour long. I don't know if it's highlights or what. I haven't watched it yet. Planning on watching that tonight, kind of check out some of these holes and how they're played back then. I know they did a renovation and stuff, but I figure they're going to play a little bit similar to what that setup was. PJ is probably going to do some different things, but it's probably not going to be too much different. Max Homa actually shot a course record here of a 61. And I just heard on the radio, on the podcast I was listening to, that Cantley was also in that field because he went to UCLA, I guess. And
Right.
Cantley shot a 62. So Cantley shooting a 62 and Homa's shooting a 61. They're both kind of really on my radar right now, and I'm going to dig a lot deeper in those two guys when I get off here. But
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
That sounds like a pretty decent strategy to jump off with, because I don't know if it's going to play. It's obviously going to play different than the Canadian Open, but not 100% different, because I think I think they're going to have a lot of irons and like 3-wood, 5-woods to hit fairways, and the greens are a bit, or I mean the fairways are a bit uneven, and you want to get the greens in regulation. There's a lot of runoff and there's a lot of junk and a lot of beachy, sandy. Like I caught a little bit of the Tour Junkies podcast, and they had Hank Labiota on there, and he played it yesterday. I believe he played 9 with somebody yesterday, and he was talking about how it's kind of almost like a Florida atmosphere, where you have that grass, like that riverbed, empty riverbed with the sand and the grass.
Yeah, they're calling that the word for that, I guess, is called a barranca.
Barranca, yes, yeah.
They're going to they say don't play a drinking game and hear barranca during the podcast. You're going to be
that's going to be the word of the day.
Pretty drunk.
So what they were saying, like Billy Horschel, I believe, was the guy, and he's a Florida guy, and he said it's almost like when you were back home growing up in Florida and you were just hitting the ball around in your backyard, is what that stuff is like, where you have the mixture of the sand and the tufts and the grass and all that mix. So you don't want to be playing your second shot from there unless you get lucky, is what I'm thinking. So I'm going to be going with more the strategic kind of guys, even guys, actually, if you would tell me what you think, Pete Dye, like strategy type guys, uneven fairways, strategic, being on the right or the left side of the fairway with the good angle in, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't hate that, because hole number 6 in particular they were talking about, and they said you want to be definitely on the left side of the fairway, because if you hit it in the middle of the fairway or anywhere to the right, they say it's rolling all the way down, and you're hitting a blind shot into the green from that point. So it's definitely going to be a little bit like that on several holes, I imagine. But the biggest comp course so far that's come out was Augusta. That I keep hearing Augusta. So that's got me intrigued too, is looking at that comp course. But then I've also heard that there's no course comparable to this course too. So
I agree with that too. I mean, not an exact comp, but this is something that I did earlier in the day. Was I went on this Holy Grail here on Rick's site, and I punched in over the last 3 years. I went, and you can try and keep up if you, but I went like West Coast stuff, like Farmers, Fortinet, Genesis, Waste Management, and then Amex, and then I went with like the mid, like Houston, Shriners, obviously threw in Masters, PGA Championship, U.S. Opens, Memorial, and then Wells Fargo for a tough course, and then I threw in the Honda and Valspar, which are the 2 toughest Florida courses, because Bermuda fairways and everything, and Bermuda grass rough. So I threw all those into this comp, and these are the tee to green leaders right here. is where I come up with. So obviously Scotty, Rom, Xander, Cal, the guys up top are your obvious, but somebody like Dustin Johnson at 8,300 is popping up here pretty high on the tee to green thing, which is
And
kind of
see,
cool.
he also pops up with the Augusta thing too, because he did win Augusta in the fall,
Mm-hmm.
and they played differently, but I mean, it still
But
went on Augusta.
I was going to
Same
say
thing with
he's been knocking on the
Hideki
door.
too.
He's had more than one good finish at Augusta, so I see where that
Yeah,
tracks. Mito Pereira, that kind of tracks. And then of
yeah.
course you got Hideki. I love on fast bent greens, and then hard courses. So Decky,
The
I
thing that
have
scares
interest
me with
in.
Hideki is you got to still be cautious of that withdrawal. How well is that neck holding up? And
Yeah,
I mean, he's a ginger little puppy this year. He keeps withdrawing on us, but
yeah,
I
he
love me
is.
some Hideki too.
But the good thing about Decky is if he tees it up, he generally guts it out no matter what. So you
Most
might,
time, yeah, he does. He
yeah.
does most time.
Uh, but then of course the last guy down here, which I don't know if I can endorse, but Luke List is on on here. Brooks is
Yeah.
obviously in here. Siwoo Kim, which is the Pete Dye kind of thing. There's
So he's
several Pete Dye kind of players here that I might be interested in.
uh so for the bottom 7K,
Yeah,
so
let's look
far
at that.
so far in the articles I've been reading, the two guys are the kind of the sleeper that everybody's talking about is Siwoo and then Russell Henley.
I
And
like Henley. Yeah,
Henley at 8%, man. If he's going to stay at 8%, the way people are talking Henley up right now, he just got a fourth of the Masters this year, so I don't hate that at all. And then of course Eric Cole. If Eric Cole has 3% ownership, you got to hammer that kid again. That guy's just a dog. If you're
he
not
just
playing
rolls
Eric
the
Cole
rock,
every
man. I
week,
mean, he gets it done on any green.
he he don't care. He's game hunting. He's once on that big board. Who was he in the playoff with or going head to head? It was Rom, wasn't it?
Uh,
A few tournaments
he
ago when he tried to get that
oh
victory.
he lost a playoff in Florida to somebody, and I don't remember who it was.
It
I
was a
don't
big
know if
name though.
huh.
He was up there. He was up there with a big name. I just can't remember who
Oh
it was.
yes, yeah. He could compete. He's got top. I mean, he finished sixth in at the Canadian Open with that run, but he also had a fifth in Mexico versus Rom and Finau. But different courses. 15th at the PGA. That's a big time event. 24th at Memorial. So he's doing it on the big stage. So I wouldn't be afraid to pull the trigger on him.
He's a dog, man. He's hunting for that leaderboard, and he don't care where he's at, but he's going to find a way to get up to the top 20. I mean, I'm fully invested in that guy. He's kind of become one of my new favorite golfers, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of call him Coley Cole is kind of a nickname I came up with for him. He just every time I see him, there's Coley Cole rolling in another one.
Yeah,
So he's solid. And then you got guys like Griot and Ekro. But if you're going like you said up top like that, are you skipping? Say say you were playing you were interested in Homa, right? And
yeah.
Cantlay. If
Those
you
are
just
two.
if go ahead.
Those are two I do like. Now there's ways where I'm probably going to do a couple builds where I do like two 9Ks and an 8K because I think a lot of people are going to miss this 8K range completely. And then like you got Hatton at 20 some percent ownership in the 8Ks. Yeah, he's playing great right now. Don't get me wrong, but
That's
uh, you you got plenty of guys there in the 8K where you can get way different with your lineup just in that one spot. So I think that's going to be one of the sweet spots this week is finding the solid 8K guy to get you through there.
okay. So what I want to do, let's see, I think I got them in the way again. Keep moving this thing around. And PGA. Go up here. All right. And we'll finish it off with just maybe like a little lineup building 101, and we'll start off. Let's go back and forth. I'll give you first pick. You give me somebody up top.
Since I bet him a few times already, I'll go Max Homa.
All right. Solid. So if you're going down to Max Homa, that means we can probably get up. I bet you we can get Rahm in this lineup. You want to try to do that?
Yeah,
You
we
think?
can try to do that.
All right. Well, let's get us back in it. Since you had pulled Doug Gim, give us somebody down here in the 6K range that's going to give us a little salary relief.
Let's go Henley.
You want to go Russell Henley? Okay.
Yeah. Either him or Siwoo, but I like Henley.
All right. That's solid. That'll give us a little bit of breathing room. And I am going to go give us a little bit more breathing room because a couple of guys down here have been mentioned. Patrick Rogers, Carson Young's another one I like to play. But one that jumped off to me real quick was Putnam. So I'm going to put him in there. And now we got all kinds of room to roam. So you said getting the 8K guy correct was going to be a big deal. So who's your favorite play in this 8K range?
Well, since he's obviously being overlooked, if Hatton's 20-some%, we got to go Dustin Johnson, man.
I like that play. I think people have kind of, I don't know if they've dismissed him just yet, but he just hasn't really been there so far. So that would give us 7,300. And like you said, you can still get Siwoo. Mito, you can get anybody. Denny would be another one I'd be interested in down here. So that's a pretty solid
Ryan
looking
Fox too.
Ryan Fox.
So he's kind of mispriced, man. He's like 46 in the world, and they got him priced like 52nd pricing on DraftKings or whatever. So
yeah,
probably your big value play is Ryan Fox.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of talk, and he is 3 straight decent finishes in the top 30, so that's solid. And he hasn't really had the greatest U.S. Open cut streaks, but he's got a couple of them. I'd argue that he's probably a much better player now than he was at any time in the last year or two, and he's probably getting a little bit more used to being over competing in the PGA and in the States and whatnot. So that's pretty cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off right there, brother. Finish this up. One more thing before I go. I know you work concerts, and you work in a concert venue as like security. You work in the front barrier.
I work one of the more famous theaters in the United States. I believe we're number one amphitheater in the United States. Is used to be called Deer Creek back in the day. It's called Rudolph Home Mortgage Music Center right now. And every 5 years they get to change the name because another person goes in and buys it out, and they change all the signs, everything gets brand new, and it's just how they keep the venue looking nice by the sponsorship being changed and stuff.
Let's say in the last recent months and years, I know you've posted several things on the Discord, but what's one of the craziest things that's happened to you?
So one of the craziest things, man, is I'm a big heavy metal guy, and Korn was in town one time. And at the end of the show, Korn likes to throw out a lot of guitar picks, man, a lot of guitar picks. Just rains guitar picks in the pit. So they're doing their thing, show's over, they're throwing their picks out. I'm standing there and I see a guy draw back like he's going to punch this guy. And I'm like, oh, man, that's a fight. So I'm a big dude. I'm over 400 pounds. We got the barricades where you step up, and then I got just straight up WWE action style, man. I got up on top of that barricade, and I'm yelling at people to move. And that guy hit the guy right in the jaw, knocked him down cold. But as he knocked him down, I'm flying over the barricade. Of course, the guy that hit him just takes off running because he saw me flying through the air. He knew I was coming for him.
You're coming for the big splash.
At the end of that, man, I was like, I either can chase this guy down, which I really, really, really wanted to do, but he did cock the guy in the jaw hard, man, and the guy's laid out. So I'm like, I'm kind of more worried to make sure this guy's all right and see if he needs medical attention or whatever. So I stop and I help him up. He says he's fine, and so we get up, and it was a kid. He's probably in his 20s. He was in the pit at corn with his mom, and I'm like, hey man, I go, you want to go get some ice or something, dude? I go, you can get you some medical attention. It'll take you 5 or 10 minutes. He goes, no, I'm fine. No, I'm fine. I was like, you sure? I was like, we can go get some medical attention. And his mom's like, hey, he said it's all right. So I was like, all right, guys. I go, you guys have a good night then. And, they went about their business, but he got hit hard, man.
Yeah, I hate to hear that, but that's hey, you get in the mosh pit at corn and it's every man for himself. So I do appreciate you joining me today, Ryan. Big
I do have one
fan.
more crazy story though too, man.
Okay,
it's a really funny story actually that happened to me. So Dirks Bentley was playing, and he at the end of the night he ends his show with Drunks on a Plane. Well, there's a guy that follows him around that dresses up in a pilot suit. So this night I had my headset on and stuff, and I'm listening to the radio calls coming out and stuff. I guess he pointed at this guy and said he could get up on stage. Well, the guy was about 20 feet away from me, and I see the guy just jump our bike racks we had over there. Flat foot jumped our bike racks, and I'm like, hell no. So I go run full speed, and I'm just going to lay this guy out, man. I just like Adam got tackled this week, all right?
Yeah, do the spear on him.
Something told me I'm like, yeah, I better not hit him that hard. So I just get up to him real hard and I bear hug him. I lift him up and I'm holding tight. I got both his arms. All of a sudden I hear Dirks Bentley come over the PA. Security, security, security. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. Look back at Dirks Bentley. Dirks is like, oh, he's okay. I'm like, all right, man, get up there then.
Give him a toss.
I felt kind of bad, but I didn't know he wanted him up there with him singing that song. But yeah, it was one of my more embarrassing moments. But I was trying to do my job, man.
Well, hey, job first, man. People's feelings second. So
yep.
Well, all right, man. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. As always, and be on the lookout for more Billy Ho content coming at you. Might have a little something tomorrow to just put a bow on the U.S. Open. And so until our next video for Ryan, it's Billy Ho signing off. See you soon.